In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Be seated. Hard to believe, but it was 3 years ago that I had the blessing to be able to walk the Camino de Santiago for the first time. Something that I'm hoping to do again this summer, God willing. And in preparation for that first Camino, I studied like crazy. I read books, joined internet forums, followed blogs, I read journals, I watched movies. I wanted to learn everything I could about the Camino so I would be prepared. What to pack, what to wear, which routes to walk, where to stay at night, what albergues or hostels to stay in, and what towns to stay in, and even more importantly, which to avoid. I read so much in preparation that I felt like a veteran. I felt like I was an ace as we boarded that plane in Chicago for Spain. We landed, we found our way to our starting town, went to bed that night, woke up the next morning, and suddenly the reality of what I was about to do sunk in. Everything I knew was theoretical. It was all from books. I had no practical experience to draw from, and with that realization, gone was all this secret knowledge that I had gained and gathered as I read the blogs and the posts and the journals and watched the movies. Now, it was about experience. I was putting on a backpack and lacing up my boots and taking my first step on that first day that turned out to be a 19-mile walk. And regardless of all the reading I had done, this was foreign to me. No reading prepared me for what awaited me. The terrain, the weather, walking in rain like this, the people and the pain, and the laughter, and all those little yellow arrows that you have to find and follow as you walk from one town to the next. Countless steps, one after another. And as I took those steps, the Camino came alive to me. And before I knew it, those 500 miles had passed and the Camino was over. And in that experience of step after step and mile after mile and town after town, I had changed. Before flying to Spain, I knew everything. And I had experienced nothing. But now I was a pilgrim who had experienced literally 1,000,000 steps on the Camino. And I realized how very little I really did know and understood. But that experience, the journey, it changed everything. An experience that I was and I still am processing. It was those 1,000,000 steps that I took. The 1,000,000 steps I walked was the journey. That's what was important. The experience stays with me even to this day, and it changes me even to this day. After returning to Green Bay, I was offered many opportunities. Sue and I both were offered many opportunities to share our Camino experience. And without fail, we would often run into someone who knew everything there was to know about the Camino. They too had read the books and the blogs and the journals and the forums. They had watched the movies. They knew about the little yellow arrows that you needed to follow. But they hadn't traveled to Spain yet. They hadn't taken one step on the Camino. They hadn't experienced it. They had 1,000,000 steps yet to take. And they hadn't been changed. Not yet. Today in the Gospel, the question is posed as directly as it can be posed. Tell us plainly, are you the Messiah? And here is Jesus' chance. The surest and easiest way to make it known to the Pharisees and those gathered. But the Pharisees and those gathered, they're not interested in walking with Jesus. They're not interested in following or seeing the signs that Jesus was leaving. They weren't interested in a journey or an experience or a relationship with Jesus whatsoever. And so Jesus responds to them, I have told you, and you do not believe. The works I do in my Father's name testify of me, but you do not believe. In Camino language, Jesus is telling them that they're missing the arrows. They're missing the signs. They're missing out on the journey and the experience. And don't forget, these people questioning Jesus, they knew the scriptures. They were teachers of the law. They had read the books over and over and over again. They memorized them. But none of these people had lived with Jesus. None of them has been traveling and journeying with Jesus. None of them have walked a single step with our Lord, let alone a million steps. They only knew what they had been told, what they had read, what they had memorized, what little they could understand. And they hadn't been changed. They had no relationship with Jesus Christ. They had no experience with Jesus. And Jesus' response indicates to us today that knowledge alone doesn't suffice. It's been said by others that the longest journey you will ever take is the 18 inches from your mind to your heart. And for the Pharisees, that was a road not traveled. Because it's all about the heart. The heart where we are vulnerable and tender, where passion and compassion make their home and ooze out from us to those around us. The heart where we are transformed and changed by the Spirit of God from hearts of stone to hearts of flesh. It takes experience, walking with Jesus, step after step, day after day, starting and building and continuing a relationship with God. This is why in today's gospel, Jesus goes on and he uses the sheep and the shepherd to make a point. The need for the heart over the head becomes clear in this analogy of the sheep and the shepherd. The sheep know and trust the shepherd, not because they met together in a little sheep huddle and have gone through some sort of rational, intellectual discernment process. It's because they have experienced the shepherd. They've experienced the works that the shepherd did. They know the signs that the shepherd leaves. They have walked with the shepherd has walked with them. Beside still waters, in green pastures, and safely through the valley of the shadow. They have journeyed together. They have walked together, step after step after step, day after day. These sheep and this shepherd, they have relationship. When we pause and we consider the early church revealed to us in the book of Acts, and we see how it grew dramatically, it wasn't because the multitudes, or that the multitudes had read books or journals or first century blogs, whatever those are. It wasn't because they were convinced of the truth of the creeds or even dogma. They didn't exist yet. Simply put, it was because they experienced life in Christ. They experienced life in community with one another. They walked with the Spirit of Jesus, and they saw God active in their own lives and the lives of those around them. They followed those signs, those arrows. Step after step, and day after day, they journeyed in daily relationship with God, and their hearts were transformed. They had experience that changed their lives forevermore. This is the call of the Spirit to us this morning, to purpose in our hearts that we will build our relationship, to really know Jesus in our heart of hearts by intentionally walking walking with Christ, step by step, day by day, town after town, and before we know it, we will be transformed and changed. And our lives will be a testimony. They will be a sign. They will be an arrow for others to follow as they too seek the Lord. Tell us plainly, is Jesus the Messiah? What does your heart say? Alleluia!